behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil, Institute of Technology, Department of Electronics and Telecommunication, I, Rajesh Bulbule, welcomes you all to this second day of SCTP IST Self-Finance 1 Week SCTP on Fog Edge Computing and Data Science. So now I introduce today's speaker for the guest session 1, Himanshu sir, Himanshu Paliwal sir. Education qualification of Himanshu Paliwal sir, Bachelor of Engineering in Electronics and Telecommunication. Sir has completed the Master of Business Administration. Sir has overall 23 years of experience, technically sophisticated and business savvy management professional with a pioneering career of over 23 years, reflecting strong leadership qualities and hands-on sales, pre-sales, techno-commercial, and project process management experience in IT industry. Excellent communication and people management skills. Sir is extensively traveled through USA, Europe, Middle East, and APAC. Sir is an ITL certified professional having 23 years of experience in IT industries like HCL, Tech Mahindra, HP, and many more. Currently, Sir is heading sales and pre-sales functions of India, SAARC countries for Tech Mahindra. His cross-functional experience spans across business development, IT consulting, strategic business analysis, and research, project management, solution design and development. Key work-related areas include strategic IT planning, data center build and run, business requirement planning and analysis. He has traveled across USA, Europe, Middle East, APAC, and led IT transformation for several organizations. So really, it's a huge profile. So I'm not going to take much more time. I welcome you, sir, and I'm handing to you, sir. Now platform is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for this sweet introduction. And since this profile was circulated, or rather I made this profile a few years back, there have been few changes.
Recording in progress.
This meeting is being recorded.
It's now around 25 years of experience that I have been into IT industry. And recently with Tech Mahindra, there is a bit of a change in my profile now. So rather than handling India and SAARC, I'm handling the entire Europe now. So, I'm looking after Europe, and that's why, though the schedule, this session was scheduled for yesterday at around 5:30, but I could not join. My apologies. I was into a bid defense presentation with a European client, which was supposed to end at 5:30, but it ended at around 8:30 in the evening. It went on and on, so I could not join. My apologies for that, and that's why Arjun was kind enough to schedule this session today. So that's the change in the profile. I am looking after the cloud services and infrastructure services for Europe now. Yeah. So I mean, my idea is to discuss how cloud has progressed and where it started really, and the big question which is still been mingling in minds is that whether cloud is a new technology. So the answer to that is, or whether cloud is a old wine in new bottle. So the answer is yes and no both. I'll explain you both the parts why it is yes and no, and then we'll talk about where this word got coined, why cloud is a cloud now, and then the types of cloud that we have. Industry believes that there are only three types of cloud as of now. One is public, private, and hybrid. So coming to the history of cloud, and cloud really began in 2009. With AWS, Microsoft, Azure, and GCP. GCP is Google Cloud Platform. All the three came into existence, whereas Google cloud really was started by Amazon in 2003. Followed by Azure. Azure came in, rather Microsoft came in with their Azure platform, and then GCP is Google, which joined later. But by 2009, all three were in full-fledged operations. And later on, when I was in HP in 2010, HP also joined the bandwagon. So did IBM and Oracle. So we have around five public cloud providers, which are actually a big names. These are big fives, which is AWS, Azure, GCP, HP, and IBM, and Oracle. Right now, so whether it is a new technology, I'll say no. The technology already existed long back. If some of the faculty members who are as ancient as me uh, have experienced MSN Mail way back in 1996, or MSN Mail followed by Hotmail, then these were the examples of cloud only. Because here what you got was a software which was delivered to you without you really knowing where the software is hosted and how it is coming to you. You just used it as a service. These email platforms came to you as a service, and you were using it, you know. And then post that, the concepts of IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service, SaaS, which is software as a service, and PaaS, which is platform as a service, evolved. And I guess you will be aware of it, but I'll just quickly touch upon the technology. Infrastructure as a service means providing IT infrastructure as a service from a data center. Software as a service means that you already have infrastructure. You sort of load that infrastructure with a software, and you provide the entire thing, which is infrastructure and software as a service. And then comes platform as a service, means that you have infrastructure, you have software into it, and then you have created some kind of a platform onto it. It's actually a practically usable, full-fledged application, which is called as platform. For example, Google, or rather, let me take very interesting examples of Uber and Ola. Uber and Ola are the platforms where they provide taxi services through that platform, and that entire platform is provided as a service to the drivers of Uber and Ola. So that's the IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS, which developed around year 2000. When this Y2K problem was going on, and and these three parts are the core components of the modern cloud now. And post that, as I was saying, 2003 was the year when Mr. Jeff Bezos, after he was through with selling his books online, came up with the idea of providing infrastructure as a service, and he started a new company called AWS, Amazon Web Services. And then the word coin was, the word cloud was coined, and the logic behind saying it cloud, because the infrastructure was shapeless. You never know what infrastructure you are being provided, when you are accessing a software or a service. And it is so shapeless, formless, and it is so dynamic. Like cloud keeps moving from here and there, without any shape, without any form, keeps changing shapes and forms. In the same way, these services will shuffle throughout the continents into various data centers, and what you will get is a service. As the byproduct of cloud is a rain, you get a service of software or a platform through this. And what has really changed in this is that even IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS have become so elastic. I mean, the techno-commercial model behind this is that pay per use. Like if you want to use a server or if you want to use a software for an hour, the service provider will bill that service on an hourly basis. Earlier, it was not so, because everybody was building its own data centers, or if not building, they were taking data centers on rent for years together, and then they were hosting their infrastructure and software on it. So that's the simplification of cloud as such. Um, if you want because if you see, a lot of confusion is going on, a lot of complexities have been added together, in sense that softwares have been developed which are very native to cloud, and they are called as cloud native. People don't understand what exactly is cloud native, because IT consultants like us, who are paid for making simple things difficult, have really made that simple things very difficult. My endeavor here is to reverse it, try and simplify a few things. So cloud native is nothing but any software, any platform which these four, five, or six big players are developing for their own cloud platform are cloud native. you know and public, private, and hybrid. Feel free to ask questions in case you have an opinion.
Yeah, participants can put some question in between also, when topic is being discussed. Yeah.
So when we talk of types of cloud, industry has named three clouds, and I'll just try and simplify the difference between these three. A public cloud are the clouds which are mostly known to you. These are the clouds provided by companies like AWS, Microsoft, and Google, or Oracle, HP, and IBM, where you know the entire control lies with them. What you get is either an infrastructure as a service, or a software as a service, or a platform as a service. And here you can pay by hour, or nowadays you can also pay by minute. So it's a pay per use model. And they are called as public clouds because they are available to public at a very cheap rate. Private cloud is something which is very traditional data center hosting, where a particular organization will rent a space in a professional data center, like hosters here, which are in India, who are known very well for hosting are BSNL and Airtel. All these telcos are big hosters of applications because they have very huge data centers. So you rent a space there, you build your own infrastructure, and you put softwares on them, and still you provide these services to your consumers. Consumers could be the employees of the organization on a sort of very transactional basis. So these applications are not hosted with you, neither they are hosted in the laptops of your employees, but they consume this through internet anyways. But it's a private cloud because it's not for rent. The organization like an IOCL or a Reliance or a Maruti, if they are building a private cloud for themselves, they are not going to rent it out. They have built for themselves, and their employees, their partners, and their customers will use it. Apologies for this. I'll have to switch off for a minute. Give me a minute. I'll switch off. Yeah. So that's the private cloud. Now, what is hybrid cloud? Now, organizations like, for instance, Maruti or Reliance may not host everything in their private cloud. They'll host some things in their private cloud which are very sensitive to them, and they will avoid hosting that on public. Only those things will be hosted in private cloud. But very generic things are very generic applications which are generally used by their thousands of customers will be hosted with professional hosters like Amazon, AWS, or whatever public cloud hosters are available. When you do that kind of an arrangement, that's something you have hosted with your own infrastructure and software, and that is very secure. Only your organization can use it, and you have hosted some applications with the public cloud provider, then that model becomes hybrid. So these are the three different types of cloud which are used. I can hear some some background noise. Is there a question?
Yeah, go ahead. No issue. Go ahead.
Yeah. So let's come to the second slide. And here, here you would have a clear understanding of how the market is divided between the top three. So Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, if you count the share, 66% of market share is with these three top players only, and rest 34% is almost with, if I'm not wrong, seven or eight other players. So clearly, somebody has to uh, kind of a background noise.
Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, you are muted. Unmute yourself. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mute myself.
Yeah, go
Is
ahead.
the application has a feature where others can mute you? anyways
Yeah.
thanks for pointing out that. So
Yeah.
this is basically the market share that the top three players have. Let's go to there is a question, sir. In industry 5.0, is there a major change? No, industry 5.0 is something else. It's a very big framework which I'll discuss with you. It's a combination of lot many things, just to explain what 5.0 is. But I'll explain this question. Please remind me, because it's a very longest answer to it.
Okay.
I'll explain that. Um, yeah. So let's flip to the next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, I would like to simplify what cloud is. And as I have told that three main components of cloud is IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS. You would have a clear idea as to what these three different categories mean. First of all, we will compare that with on-premise. Now, on-premise is the traditional way of hosting, where companies will go to a professional hosters like Airtel, BSNL, or there are several other names now, ESDS and all those things. These are basically hosters in the sense that they have their own data centers. So on-premise is that part, uh, and on-premise could be other way also, in sense that, for example, all the public sector companies like IOCL, HPCL, and other that, or rather 7 or 8 or 9 PSUs that we have. Mostly they had no constraint on space and electricity because it was all provided by government. So what these large companies have done is that they have started hosting or building data centers of their own on their premises. So when I say on premise, it is actually big companies hosting in their own premise, or big companies hosting into a data center where they take only space, rest is all there. So here everything is provided by customer, if you see. But when you come to IaaS, infrastructure as service, then of course, customer will provide the first 6 7 line items, and the infrastructure will be provided by the service provider. Now I have taken this slide from Azure because I'm an Azure certified professional. I have a lot of Azure material. So when we say Microsoft, it is it is any public cloud that comes to your mind. So here the public cloud only will provide infrastructure as a service, and I believe you all understand what infrastructure means. Infrastructure is nothing but the server, the routers, the other networking gears which are hosted in a data center. But when you come to PaaS, which is platform as a service, here the operating system also is provided by the service provider or the cloud service provider, CSP. So if you see here, the bottom three are provided. In addition to IaaS, the fourth item which gets provided here is operating system, and the rest of the two items like application and networking product, it could be either provided by the CSP or customer can buy it. But when it comes to SaaS necessarily means that the operating system, the networking gear, and the application is also provided by the cloud service provider, and customer only has either a security or management of that software with them. So that's the difference, and that's what the cloud is all about. If you go to next slide. Yeah. So having said that, I don't know how many of you have come across the fact or came across statements like this company was born on cloud. So what do you mean by companies who are taking birth on cloud? See, all these new startups who are heavily dependent upon internet and heavily dependent upon e-commerce nowadays don't build their data centers. Rather, they try and host infrastructure or software from the CSPs, that is cloud service providers. So some of the companies, and they are well-known companies and they are big now, because in 2009 these companies were very small. In fact, some of the companies never existed at that time when I started my cloud journey in around 2008 2009. Airbnb was surely not there. Paytm, PhonePe, BharatWay were non-existent. So all these companies that I have listed are unicorns now, in sense that they were startup some years back, but they are very big now, and they all were born in cloud. Which I have a question here to everyone. These companies gave birth to startups, unicorns. Uh, yes, definitely they were all startups, as I said. They were very small. In fact, Amazon was started in a garage by Jeff Bezos. So was Microsoft, and so was Oracle, at times. So, but companies like Netflix and Amazon streaming services, this Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is what it was born last 2 years, I guess, because Amazon started with commerce, with their online selling platforms, and then came their Amazon Prime service, which was an OTT streaming platforms. So you would be amazed to learn that Netflix, who is competing with Amazon and now is trying to shift out of Amazon because they are now competing with it. Netflix, when it started streaming movies online in US, was hosted with Amazon. Now Amazon is a competitor of Netflix. That's why Netflix is trying to shift. Probably they're talking very recently. They have opened dialogues with Azure and GCP to host them, and they'll come out of Amazon. Amazon itself had its own cloud platform, so it's but natural that Amazon was born on cloud. So was Uber and Ola, because Uber and Ola, when they were startups, they were definitely not interested in investing in data centers, because that's a huge investment. They chose pay-per-use model, and both Uber and Ola took birth on cloud. That is, they started with hosting on cloud, and so was Airbnb. Airbnb is the largest company now. It's a unicorn. It's a grandfather of Oyo. Oyo is a copy of Airbnb, where they book hotels and flats and houses through their online platform. And Paytm, Payphone, and BharatPay is known to everybody. These companies were also born on cloud, which means that they never thought of investing into data centers or building their own data centers. So that's the concept of taking a birth on cloud. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, good. Yeah. So That, good that the next slide is only questions, if any.
Participants should. Yes,
Just
anyone? Put in the chat box also.
rather than question, I'll also encourage you to have an opinion. You know, I want to hear opinions from academics.
Yes, sir.
In industry,
Hello, sir.
actually, there are
Yes,
some
sir. I have a
questions
question.
in the chat.
Acha,
Okay,
okay. Let me
so I
access
will read
chat.
the question. I think
Okay.
in Industry 5.0, is there any major changes in relationship with cloud computing?
Nothing. Not much. So as I was saying, and I guess this question was from I think
Paikrao sir, Dr. PD Paikrao sir.
Dr. PD Pakirao. So Dr. Saab, not really.
Yeah.
As I have confessed earlier, I have been an IT consultant, and we are paid for making simple things difficult, right? So when you say 5.0, or now I'll be coming to data sciences also. Hardly any changes. It's an old wine in new bottle, whether it is industry 3.0, 4.0, or 5.0. Basic technology remains the same. Technology is not going to change. What will change is the commercial modeling or the construct around it. So when I say techno commercial, techno remains same, commercial keeps changing. The the models are going to change, you know. So industry 5.0 will see metaverse, which is still a concept, not in use, because I'm also trying to drive metaverse within Tech Mahindra. We will reach there, but it will take some time. Uh, Concepts like blockchain are a reality now. They were concept 3 years back. Now I have a lot of customers to whom we are implementing blockchain. So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you
Okay. Yeah.
see you know, 3 years back, which was a concept like a blockchain, is a reality now, and we are generating revenues out of implementing blockchain softwares for the industry. So, you know, to be very honest, you know, it is just a jargon, Industry 5.0. Uh, from a cloud computing point of view, nothing will change. What will change is the commercial modeling. That's all.
Yeah.
And there's one more question which I could.
Actually, a very good question, sir has kept. Now, one more question is, these companies gave birth to startups, unicorns. Security of cloud is an evolving issue. How is this handled?
Right.
Very
It is
interesting.
very rightly said. Security has always been a concern in cloud. It is still a concern, but not that extent now, because nowadays banks have also started hosting on cloud. You know, so earlier it was there, and that's why it took some time for cloud to pick up. But here now, if you go to public cloud providers, and these are all big names, and not a single major security issue has happened, apart from some issues which anyways will happen if you are hosting on premise also. But yes, rightly said, still defense is not on cloud, and I think they are rightly placed. uh, you know, defense is on private cloud only. If they have to go the cloud way, they will go the private cloud way, not with the public cloud, because I have an experience with ISRO. I had experience with the DRDO. I had experience with Ministry of Defense and Navy. I mean, because since last 6 7 years I was dedicated to India and SARC. So my experience in our country has been that defense, because of security issues, uh, will prefer and is preferring private cloud. They build their own cloud uh, rather than hosting on public. But yes, private banks have started hosting on cloud because that that evolving issue of security has died down for them. They are convinced that their data is safe.
Yes. Any other questions from
Yes, sir.
participants?
I would like to say regarding this security. There are a number of things, might be medical records, health records, which are today going on cloud.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a big thing. That is what I feel. So that's one
Yeah,
of the concerns.
medical issues are going. I mean, Apollo Hospital is with the hosting with a public cloud service provider.
Yes,
I can't name it, but major corporate hospitals are storing their HLS, that is, health
yes.
records.
Because till date, fintech is already on a secured platform. Fintech, as you are sharing,
Yeah,
fintech has already grown with that blockchain and all those things. But there
right,
are certain areas which are untouched and truly which needs to be looked into.
right, right. See, I personally believe, though I am heading cloud and my bread and butter comes from selling cloud and cloud solutions. I see a complete sea change in next 2 to 3 years where even mid-scale organizations and smaller organizations will opt for hybrid cloud
Mhm.
rather than hosting everything on public cloud, because practically my customers keep complaining that cloud becomes slow. If you're hosting very important applications and heavy applications on cloud, then depending upon the traffic that particular CSP has, your applications experiences sluggishness. And it may so happen that you need that applications to be very fast in a particular time, and in that particular time there's a huge traffic uh, on the network of CSPs, and then the application starts becoming sluggish.
Okay.
That's the complaint I keep getting from the customers. So what would happen that even mid-scale customers, now so large customers like IOCL, I'll give you, IOCL is on hybrid cloud. They have hosted their most important applications in their own premise. Because IOCL is a public sector unit, they have a lot of land, they have a lot of space, and they have built their own data centers, and they host their important applications or very secure applications on premise. They have not even gone to the public hosters. But some of the applications which are very generic have gone to cloud. And also it would be very interesting for you to know. Probably I don't know whether academics know, but if you go to any professional who is working in cloud industry, uh, these three players have literally divided the customers, and they have developed their own specialization. For example, any generic hosting will go to Amazon because of their cheap rates. You know, if you are a Microsoft shop, I mean, Microsoft shop means countries who are completely depending on are dependent on Microsoft, and there are very huge companies as well as mid-scale companies who are completely a Microsoft shop. They are preferring to go with Azure because with Azure you get everything whatever you are using like O365 Teams as a service to you. You know, and companies who want to go on a research based where they want a very strong search engine or they want a very strong data analytics engine, they will prefer GSP because Google traditionally has been a company who is expert in search or is a master of search on internet, and they have a very strong data analytic engine with, and that engine they have built into their cloud. So if you want a DNA, data and analytics, or which is now called as data sciences as a service, then these companies will go to GCP. This is how practically the market is getting divided. And all these three players are excellent. They are doing good job in sense that you will not believe they are not selling their products and services. In fact, they have opened up a sales counter and people are queuing up to take the services.
That's nice to
So
know. So one more thing with this, sorry, one more thing I would like to know uh, from the academia point of view. What do you suggest that the student should have the skill with them to be a part of this cloud as one of the domain for their future or a career?
yeah, I keep hearing that in computer sciences stream, cloud is a specialization now. And soon, 3 or 4 years, 5 years down the line, new technologies, if they are as successful as blockchain is, if they evolve and become successful, these new technologies will also become part of the main curriculum. Uh, if you want to really come on cloud and have a specialization in cloud, please come, because as I have told you that lot many applications are becoming cloud native. These service providers are developing their own databases. So there is a good future in cloud, and it has picked up. So the train which was moving slowly, the cloud train, has suddenly become a jumbo jet, and it has taken off. Nobody, and especially these small and medium companies, they are not going to invest into buying any data center space now. In fact, the entire, you will be interested to know that Adanis have come into data center business. The Mukesh Ambani group of Reliance is also coming into data center business. And they are coming up into data center business not to host in retail, but they are coming up to give spaces to these three service providers. Adani is building their data center, and so is Mr. Hiranandani. I mean, people in Mumbai or in Mumbai will know Hiranandani is a big name in real estate. They have built data centers to provide services to the public cloud, because public cloud is growing like anything, and these three players are not building their data centers. They are rather going into various countries and renting out the data center space. So
Quite informative, sir. Quite informative. Thank you for that update. Yeah.
You can imagine how things are changing up. And I still retain my statement that the technology is not new. What is new is a commercial construct.
True. That is what I wrote here. Because we were using it, as you rightly said, might be 98, 99, Yahoo and all those things. It was there, but in a different mode. So later on it was coined as all those things, AI, cloud and all those things. Then it came into picture. Yeah, things were existing.
Absolutely.
So one more thing I would surely like to know, or I would request you to say. Typically, we got an essence of what cloud would be, or what are the types and what it would be serving. Otherwise, we used to know cloud. Okay, it's okay. So something very specification, because we are people mostly from the background of electronics and telecommunication. So can you just let us know these three types? You said GSP, Azure, and the third one is Amazon. So what would be the size of it? Obviously, it would be something beyond our imagination, but that will give us a realistic imagination somewhere. So
you want to know the size of their data centers, or you want to know the size of their business?
No, not business, sir. Technical domain, telecommunications. So we'd like to know what would be the size of it. Yeah.
See, again, when we say cloud is nothing but a huge data center nowadays. So Google has around millions and millions of servers. They have millions and millions of square feet through which they are providing GCP. And biggest is with Mr. Jeff Bezos. My apologies, somehow these calls never stop. Okay. So the space that Amazon has, and you can have it on, checked with Google also. If you Google, again, they have millions and millions of square feet of data center into various locations in US, which they own. I'm talking of billions and billions of square feet is that these companies, because these three companies are American companies, they are owning that real estate and that data center in US. Somehow these companies have decided not to own any data center real estate space outside US. So traditionally, if you see, Microsoft is only the company who has bought a land in Hyderabad, which is outside USA, and it's only the company I know who has bought real estate out of USA. So just to address your question on the size of their data centers, billion and billions of square feet is divided between these three people, rather these three service providers.
Only three oligopoly kind of thing instead of
Also, the
monopoly.
market,
Yeah.
it has become, as I was saying, 66% of the market space
Yeah.
is with these three,
Yeah.
and rest of the 34, I think there would be around 20-25 other players
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
that space of
Only
30.
two, three.
Three
Institute Oligo,
are
that's it. Yeah.
literally ruling the public
Yeah.
cloud.
Thank you, sir. It was quite informative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Actually, we are very much happy that we busy schedule is, though you missed yesterday, today you made a time available with us. We are lucky enough to get your directly view from the industry, how you are, as you working on the cloud directly. You said the born in cloud. Actually, the sentence which is very much positive for us,
At least
born
they are
in cloud.
born in cloud, and I guess
Yeah,
somebody
something sentence you have used.
why these were startups and why they
Yeah,
are giants now. They are in fact
yeah, yeah.
unicorns. Uh,
So we are very much lucky to have because our topic is the same, and you have given some insights of industry. Though
yeah,
academically we may talk something, but it's much useful for us. Actually, we are very much thankful. Now, as time is running, so I will hand over to the Pawan sir.
Yes, sir.
yeah. So,
Go ahead,
Yes.
sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. It was nice session, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable knowledge and valuable time.
thank you. I'm delighted
Yes.
as I had my own self-interest of interacting with the academics. Uh, I don't get much of a time when I'm on campus recruiting, fresh engineers for my company. I don't get any time apart from interviewing them. But it's good to have opinions from you also. And thanks Arjun
Okay.
for inviting
Yes,
me.
sir. We are so lucky to hear you, sir, and for giving your valuable time. Once again, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
So now I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion. Thanks so much, Himanshu, sir. I would like to
Yeah,
say thank you to our principal, sir, Dr. Lalit Kumar Wadhwa, sir, as well as our HOD, Dr. Bhalke, sir, who always motivate us to conduct such types of workshops as well as the STGP. Also, thanks to Birds Engineering Academy for giving this opportunity. Thank you so much, sir, for
yeah,
giving
thank
this
you. My
your
my
valuable
my
time.
my closing remarks would be that both the institutes, whether it is you know Birds Engineering or DY Patil, let this journey continue because I know Arjun very well. Arjun is a social worker rather than a academician, but he keeps taking such initiatives, which is a big
Yeah.
social work. And academics also should encourage to interact with industry. And I'll request Arjun to invite more and more people from industry so that students get a view of what is going on in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when we graduated as engineers, we were shocked to know that whatever we are learned in books, and at that time it was only books. Internet was not available. I am talking of 1995 when I graduated in engineering.
Okay.
Uh, when we stepped into industry, it was completely different. And I think the difference is the same. Even if the new new students who will graduate and will step into industry, they will find lot many things that they have not learned, lot many things that has been not taught to them, and this difference will always remain between academics and industry. So thanks Arjun, and thanks DY
Yeah.
for
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Institute for
Thank you.
inviting me and giving me patient here. So I'll take a leave, Arjun.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Yes. Thank you, sir.